In November 1988, the body of longtime Genovese mobster Anthony Hickey Dilorenzo was found in the backyard of his New Jersey home. He had a single bullet wound to the head. So, who was Hickey Dilorenzo? And why did his powerful Genovese mob bosses order his murder? Let's check it out. Welcome to OC Shorts, bringing you detailed historical snapshots of the American Mafia and other organised crime. Feel free to subscribe if you like that sort of thing. Today, we're going to take a quick look at the murder of the once powerful Genovese mobster, Anthony Hickey Dilorenzo. Anthony Hickey Dilorenzo was born on January 28, 1928. He was a made man in the Genovese crime family and was considered to be a huge earner. Former acting boss of the Lucchese crime family, Al Diaco, said of Dilorenzo, "He was well-spoken, well-read, and adept at business." Throughout the 1960s, Hickey Dilorenzo wielded a lot of power in the National Association of Air Freight. On September 27, 1963, Dilorenzo was recorded having a conversation with powerful Genovese mobster Gentleman John Marcello. The pair were talking about mob turncoat Joseph Alachi's testimony. Marcello: "He is going to make it hot for everybody." Dilorenzo: "They, law enforcement, are going to harass people and are definitely going to try and pass that wiretapping law. If they ever get that law passed, forget about it. They probably have miles of tape that they put together. They'll say, well, this is what we got. Then they'll start indicting guys." Marcello: "It isn't a free country anymore." By the time Hickey Dilorenzo assumed the position of consultant for the National Association of Air Freight in 1965, he'd had a criminal record dating back to 1944 for grand larceny and aggravated assault. This position of consultant provided Dilorenzo with an annual salary of $40,000. Dilorenzo was a close associate of Lucchese mobster Johnny Dio Diaguardi, a powerful figure in union racketeering. In 1968, it is alleged that Dilorenzo ordered a wildcat strike at JFK Airport and San Francisco International Airport. This was supposedly part of a $190,000 shakedown of an international freight company. And in 1969, Hickey resigned his position as consultant with the NAAF after he was indicted for the interstate transportation of $1 million of stolen IBM stock securities. At Hickey's arraignment for this charge, the government stated that Dilorenzo uses gangster tactics to control and monopolize air freight trucking at JFK, threatening and sabotaging the trucks of those who don't go along. Hickey Dilorenzo was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but freed pending appeal. He went back to the NAAF, where he continued to exert his power through a frontman known as Haskell Wolf. Haskell Wolf was a lawyer with no criminal record, and he was the executive secretary of the NAAF. It is alleged that Wolf assisted Hickey by guiding business to a trucking leasing company that Dilorenzo owned. Despite his appeal, Dilorenzo was again found guilty on his stolen stock transportation charge and sent off to Lewisburg prison to start his 10-year sentence in 1971. However, after only a few months, he somehow managed to impress the Lewisburg prison staff, and he was transferred to the minimum security Allenwood Federal Prison Camp, a location for honor prisons of Lewisburg Penitentiary. Many sources unsurprisingly suspect bribery and corruption being at the heart of this move. Even more amazingly, in 1972, a year after Hickey started his sentence, he was allowed to go on an unaccompanied furlough to the dentist. On Monday the 24th of July 1972, Hickey had been transferred to Huntington House of Detention on Long Island in order to attend a dental appointment. Like a good honour prisoner, he went to his appointment and returned. However, Dilorenzo needed further dental work, and on Wednesday, July the 26th, 1972, he left the federal house of detention on West Street unescorted and never returned. One newspaper reported, "On Wednesday, Dilorenzo, who has been tabbed as a former soldier in the Genovese crime family, was again put on his honour to visit his dentist. Dilorenzo faithfully visited him, and after a long and trying appointment, asked for a breather about noon. His wife drove him to a nearby diner and dropped him off. The con was due back at West Street between 2 and 2:30 p.m. Wednesday, but he didn't show. Nonetheless, the house of detention didn't report him missing to the FBI's fugitive squad until about 10 a.m. yesterday." After escaping prison, Hickey Dilorenzo went on the lam to South America. It is believed that Hickey's motivation for his prison break was due to the fact that he had found out that he was facing fresh charges relating to extortion, hijacking, and union manipulation. If found guilty, he was likely facing a heavy increase to his 10-year sentence. In 1977, after 5 years on the run, agents from the Drug Enforcement Agency tracked Hickey down to Venezuela, but had no legal ability to arrest him there. They managed to trick him onto a plane to Panama, where he was arrested by local police upon arrival. In a Panamanian jail, Dilorenzo was allegedly beaten and tortured, before being boarded onto a plane to Miami, and then transferred to the MCC in Manhattan. Hickey was eventually sent to the Federal Correction Institution at Ray Brook, where he bumped into an old friend, future Lucchese family acting boss, Al Diaco. Al Diaco recalls that in Ray Brook, Dilorenzo wasn't the man that he once knew, and that the torture that he had suffered in Panama had left a massive effect on him. He stated, "Hickey was always so sharp, he noticed everything. But now he was acting strange. He starts talking about drugs, about liquid cocaine, stuff he never talked about. He said he would go back on the lam to South America. He was talking wild." Diaco says that he reported his concerns regarding his friend's behaviour to 2 senior members of the Genovese family who were also incarcerated at Ray Brook. These individuals were the extremely wealthy Genovese captain Jimmy Nap Napoli and Carlo Mastro Totaro. Diaco recalls, "I told Jimmy Nap and Carlo Mastro Totaro about being worried about Hickey and the way he was talking and acting. They went and checked it out and agreed with me. They told Hickey the same thing. He ignored them too." After further incidents in prison of irrational behaviour from Dilorenzo, Carlo Mastro Totaro told Al Diaco, "We will straighten it out in the street." In 1988, Al Diaco had been out of prison for around 2 years when he bumped into his old friend Hickey Dilorenzo, who was now also a free man. However, Hickey was still acting strange. He was openly and loudly talking about drug deals that he was planning, and was associating with longtime Lucchese mobster and drug-dealing kingpin, Joseph "Joe" Beck DiPalermo. His brazen and talkative behaviour was becoming a concern for the secretive Genovese family. Diaco recalls sitting with powerful Genovese captain and future family consigliere, little Jimmy Ida, and speaking to him about Dilorenzo. Diaco claims that he asked Jimmy Ida why the Genovese just didn't tell Dilorenzo to stop his antics. To which Jimmy Ida allegedly responded, "You know what we're going to do, right? We're going to whack him." And so, on November the 25th, 1988, in a hit approved by family boss Vincent Gigante and allegedly ordered by then captain Jimmy Ida, Anthony Hickey Dilorenzo was shot to death at his West New York home. He was found in the backyard with a single bullet wound to the head. For many years, the gunman in the mob hit is believed to have been Joey Ida, the older brother of Captain Jimmy Ida. Joey, at the time, was a soldier in his younger brother's Manhattan-based crew. Much of the information relating to this comes from Genovese associate Philip Laporta, who started cooperating with the government in the early 1990s. After allegedly killing Hickey Dilorenzo, Joey Ida scaled a fence and lost his hat in the process, only to discover that his getaway driver had vanished. Joey Ida set off on foot, and from different locations made 4 collect calls to his brother Jimmy. This has been confirmed by the FBI. The last of these calls was from a location just 8 miles from Hickey Dilorenzo's house. Mob associate Philip Laporta was dispatched to pick up the mob hitman. And according to an affidavit, Philip Laporta said that Joey Ida was covered in blood. Joey Ida then told Laporta that he had strangled and pistol whipped Dilorenzo and shot him once in the face. Joey Ida would be arrested, but despite taking blood and hair samples from Ida, failed to come up with enough evidence to charge him, especially considering that the government decided not to use Laporta as a witness, allegedly because he had too much baggage to be effective on the stand. Anthony Hickey Dilorenzo was 60 years of age at the time of his death. I hope you found that interesting. Thanks for watching.